And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar, right here on BearcatJournal.com. Hail Marys. They are located in Cheviot. They are in the Dora District, right on Harrison Avenue. You can walk from bar to bar with your drinks. You can stay at Hail Mary's. They've got a brand new cooler, brand new draft lines. Not only do they pour the coldest beer around, they do it in 32.8 degree beer frosted glasses. They have 27 TVs, a 9-screen video wall, 3 outside facing TVs for those wonderful fall days that are coming up. And you want to sit outside and still catch the game. They subscribe to every sports TV package that DirecTV offers. They can stream all the games, and all Cincinnati sports will always be on the 9-screen video wall. All right, let's get this show on the road. What Keegan is in? What's going on, Keeks?
I am living the life, watching football consistently during the week, and then coming home and winning national championships as a QB on NCAA 25. So
I am currently having a nightcap after the night practice tonight, thanks to a dedicated listener who sent me a bottle of Weller Special Reserve.
Sounds expensive.
It's delightful. I'm very much enjoying it. So it was night practice this evening out at Camp Higher Ground, which is an annual occurrence pretty much every year. They didn't do it last year, and I think they learned that it was something to add to the arsenal of things to kind of mix up camp and make things feel a little fresh. They have an off day tomorrow, so there won't be any reporting tomorrow, although this today, and because of the night practice, is the only time we'll do this. This will serve as the practice notes for the day. And then tomorrow, the version 1.0 of the Bearcat Journal Camp 2 Deep. So something to look forward to. I will get that up tomorrow as soon as possible. And I'm looking forward to it because I think we're finally, Keegan, outside of defensive line, which is still very much a trial and error type thing that Walt Stewart is going through right now without Dante Corleone. I think everybody in the program feels good that Dante is going to play this year and hopefully play fairly early, but you don't know when exactly that is going to be. So they're trying guys inside, they're trying guys outside. That part is still, I think, very much kind of fluid, but offensive line, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, linebackers, safeties, and corners, I think I have a pretty solid assessment of what my read on the initial 2 deep is. So I will be putting that up tomorrow. I know everybody loves the 2 deep and the projections on what the roster looks like, especially on a defense where we don't know exactly what everything looks like. I'll lead it off with this, though. We did talk to Coach Cardwell after practice today, and it seems like it's pretty much all systems go on Philip Wilder taking control of the right tackle job. And when I have the 2 deep tomorrow, that will be evident because DeAndre Buford is on that 2 deep. It is not at right tackle with the 1s. It is at left guard with the 2s. So that part I think is pretty interesting, but that's as much of a sneak peek as I can give. But one, I love talking to Coach Cardwell. I would interview him every day after practice if we could.
He's the best.
Yeah. But the Wilder news, I think, is, something that right tackle was not good last year, especially in pass protection. And that was an area that they have talked about needing to get better. I thought he had some interesting stuff to say about how Wilder was doing a better job anchoring himself against the bull rush and just doing it. He did a great job with Nico. And I think that's maybe the first piece of like significant news to come out of camp. We talked about it right away that the first team reps, Philip Wilder was at right tackle. Now to have the offensive line coach kind of confirm that feels like the direction that they're going, I think that's a significant bit of news.
Yeah, and I brought it up to Coach during the interview, but it's just the mental fortitude that you have to kind of, he transferred in from SEMO before last season. So he was in that first crop of transfers. You get all the 5 starters back, and it's this big deal, and it was. But you can kind of just, sit back and play your role and be like, I'm just gonna wait my turn. These guys have their jobs sealed up, and it's kind of a given. And for him to just work at that and kind of not be denied the role that he felt he deserved to play in the offensive line is a serious testament to his mental and physical condition, because it obviously takes a lot. But he's a physically imposing guy. Like, I don't think a lot of fans have really seen him and are familiar with him, but he's a massive dude. And I think that he's going to be a force at tackle. And he's just going to be a presence down there that teams are going to have trouble with.
Yeah, and I think that kind of brings that line together. And that's not a knock on DeAndre Buford. I think he's just better as a guard. The thought was to bring him in and give him the chance to play tackle, and it didn't go great last year, especially in pass protection. And it's kind of a Wally Pipp situation, because Buford was out for the spring. And that gave Wilder the chance to get those reps every day at right tackle. And then he took it into the summer. He built upon it. He added, what do you say, 10, 15 pounds to his frame, so, 10, 15 pounds of strength to his frame with Nico in the summer. And then here's what I know. I have not written anything down about somebody beating right tackle in pass protection. Yeah. And that's how you judge if an offensive lineman is doing his job, right? If you're constantly writing down 74 got beat, 74 got beat, like, that's how you know things are not working the way that they should be working.
And he said
feels like it's working pretty well.
He said this time last year he was getting pushed back into the backfield just based off like the size comparison and where he was at physically. And then now he's put the good weight on, the good muscle on, and he's able to compete. I also do, just when I write this down, Chad thinks Philip Wilder will be as good as Lou Gehrig.
No, that's not what I said. A Wally Pipp situation where Wally Pipp got hurt and Lou Gehrig took his job and played, 2,000 straight games. And Wally Pipp never saw the field again. So
who called me Wally Pipp?
I don't remember. I remember somebody calling you Wally Pipp. Was it me?
No, definitely not. It's you, the last person.
You're a
no, wait. They called you Wally Pipp.
Yeah,
not me. That's what it was.
No, okay. And I had to explain to them. No, this was planned. Like this was not like I stepped aside. Like, no, I hired you to be Lou Gehrig.
Yeah.
So, I'm the GM in this situation that brought Lou Gehrig up through the system.
There was no Wally Pipp.
There was no Wally Pipp. It was just me. Like I was the GM, the players, the owner. So I was just finally putting a team together. First base, Bugs Bunny. Second base, Bugs Bunny. Like, you definitely won't get that. You might get that. The old Bugs Bunny.
I get that. I watch cartoons. Okay. Boomerang. Come on.
Yeah. All right. Just making sure. Some of my references are yeah. You're too young to understand, and I get that. It's fine. Due to the day, we'll do this in the notes format. I think we both agree. Although Jordan Young had a really good day, there were a couple guys in contention for this.
Should we
Armani
do
Arnold,
honorable
I thought, had a
mentions
good day.
first?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Jordan Young, couple pass breakups on Xavier Henderson. Armani Arnold, he's little. That dude likes to hit for a corner.
Yeah, he does.
Like, I've noticed that several times already in the 2 days that, although they didn't have the leg pads on yesterday.
Yeah, so they weren't in full pads.
I mean,
You didn't
if
believe
they're
me.
in shoulder pads and helmets, for me, that's full pads.
You didn't believe me.
Whatever.
I think that is a really good thing. And Derek Canteen is another guy that loves to hit. When you lose a guy like Brian Threats, you need that presence somewhere in your defense because it just gives the entire defense a jolt when there's a guy like that. I think Ken Willis had an awesome day, and he talked about his new safety position, how you play free, how you play loose, and he was flying all over the field, making tackles, making big hits, especially in the run game. All the safeties were getting downhill really, really fast to try to plug up holes in the run game.
Yeah. A guy I don't know that I'd put him in due to the day status, but one of the guys that I noticed a little bit more for the first time today was Lindrick Barber.
Okay.
The defensive line, the freshman defensive lineman. That's a dude that body wise looks like a defensive, like he looks like a veteran defensive lineman. I know we've talked about Marquez Parker a lot, and I think Parker's closer to playing. But as you're cycling through and trying to figure out, again, it's what we've talked about with this entire freshman class. The door is open, right? They're looking for depth. They're looking for guys to build up the playable talent on the roster. And a bunch of these freshmen are raising their hand and saying, I came here to play.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't come here to sit. I came here to play. And Barber was another guy that caught my eye today. But let's go due to the day. Michael Massari. I mean,
to the delight of many.
He made what, 4 or 5 really, really good plays.
Like contested catches. Yeah.
Yeah. He had one. If he would have figured out a way to bring in the one at the end.
Well, that was just a good play by who was that? Daniel James, maybe?
It was Daniel James. I was going to look. But yeah, it was absolutely James pass breakup on Massari. After Massari had made like a number of plays like in succession. Felt like every time the ball was in the air to him, the play got made, and then James just came over the top on a go route.
It was a good ball by Sorsby.
Knock it away. It was.
Yeah.
So Massari, I don't know where he fits specifically. I also don't know how you don't find time to get him on the field.
It's the same with Barry Jackson.
He gets open. Yeah, I've seen Barry be a little sloppy at times on his like specific routes, and they're working with him to get a little bit more crisp. But when he gets it, when the ball's in his vicinity, Barry Jackson makes plays. If he can bring it in, like he's a guy that can take it the distance. Massari just does everything right. He blocks, he runs good routes, he catches everything that's thrown to him. Does he have the talent of a Xavier Henderson or a Tony Johnson? No. But it's like when we talk about like Connor Hickman in basketball. The dude just knows how to play the sport. Right? When you look at him, you don't think Connor Hickman's a guy that's going to really impact the game. He's a little short, even though he's super strong. He doesn't look like the broad shoulders and like, you know what I mean? Like Massari's kind of the same way.
Monster of the summer.
Because he's one of the dudes, like pound for pound, nobody lifts more than him.
Yeah.
So Massari kind of reminds me of like somebody like the football version of that in terms of run the right routes, make the catch, get downfield. You know, he's not a super big like yards after catch guy because he's not running away from people with elite speed. But man, if I'm a quarterback and it's 3rd down and I need 6 yards, I want Michael Massari as an option.
Yeah. Yeah, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua don't run away from receivers either, but
Right.
they were able to have two of the best seasons a wide receivers had in the past 20 years of the NFL.
Because they get open and they catch the football.
Yeah, but I think the interesting thing about him is he's
You just
making.
compared Michael Massari to Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua?
I mean, they're basically in the same situation. Not Nacua. I think he was more heralded in college. But Cooper Kupp went to Eastern Washington and nobody literally told him he wasn't going to play. But the thing about Massari is that he's making those plays in the middle of the field, 10, 15-yard medium routes. And then he's also doing it 25 to 30 yards down the field as well. So it isn't these things where he's just going slants and running quick outs. He's making plays all over the field. He made a really, really good sliding one-handed catch on Monday that I wrote down. So I think his catch radius and his competitiveness and just his willingness to, a la Ryan Royer, put his face in the fan is going to bode very, very well for him. Because I know that
Ryan Royer puts his head in the fan, not his face.
And it hit his face, I'm assuming.
No, he just put it too far up, and it's a long story.
But with the zone run scheme, you're gonna have to block as a receiver, and that's what keeps you on the field. In the high school levels and the college levels and the NFL. If you can run block as a receiver, you're going to be on the field.
It's going to be interesting because I don't currently have him in my 2 deep, but if he continues to do this, I don't know how he's not in your 2 deep.
Yeah.
I think for right now, Sterling Burkhalter is the backup to Xavier Henderson, and Jamoy Mays is the backup to Tony Johnson.
Yes. And then Aaron Turner is the backup to Terrence Smith,
and Barry Jackson. So here's you want to talk about the luxury of building depth. The third string wide receivers right now, in my opinion, Massari, Evan Prater, Barry Jackson.
Yeah. And then you have three really good freshmen as the fourth string.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what people ask me compared to last season, what's showing. And I was like, wide receivers far and away the most improved position on the team. And just in terms of depth. What?
Safety. They're neck and neck. Safety was the worst position on the team last year.
Okay.
And now you have Mekhi Miller, Josh Minkins, Derek Canteen.
But yeah, it's also better
Logan
to be
Wilson,
not better.
Jaquan Sanks, Kai Stokes.
It's also
Pace,
it's easier to be better at safety when you have three on the field at all times.
Sure. Well, you have three wide receivers on the field at all times.
But that didn't change from last season. That's the same from last season. So you're comparing apples to apples, and it is significantly better. And it's not just depth, it's also every box is checked for each type of receiver that you want. Speed.
The reason I would give it to safety is because X is back. Your number one is back.
Yeah, but even if it was just him and then some average guys around him, it would be the same thing as last year. Because they would just shadow him, and then
I'm just saying there's an argument for either. I think it's those two positions.
Yeah.
You can make an argument for either. I don't think it's one in a landslide, the other in a landslide. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a landslide. I'd still give the edge to receiver.
I think I would go safety just because it was hard to imagine how bad they were at safety last year. It's hard to fathom.
Yeah.
And both of those positions have stood out in camp. So I think we're arguing semantics. Yeah. But I would put both of them up there at the top. And corners starting to these young kids.
Kalen Carroll had a day too.
Kalen Carroll had a good day. Like I said, Arnold had a good day. Jordan Young had a good day. I didn't notice Gravy as much today.
I
did
saw
notice.
him at the end.
But I'm saying he didn't
Yeah.
flash as much as he has
We had just talked
some of the other days. Yeah. That's what I mean when I say that to you at practice. I haven't seen him. Like I know he's been on the field, but like do something, right? Like I got a notebook here. I'm trying to write shit down. I need you to do something for me to write your name down. I didn't notice Gravy at like a high level today, but Daniel James flashed a good deal today. So, you know, I'm impressed overall with the youth. There's a youth movement that is happening amidst all the transfers. Like you know, everyone's talk about the transfers because most of them are gonna start. I mean, not you know what I mean. Like most of the positions are going to early be filled by guys that they got in the transfer portal.
Yeah,
like the gaps that they had. But there's gonna be a bunch of young guys. Simeon Coleman, I thought had a good day. Whedon is starting to like, you know, he didn't have the luxury of being here for spring ball, but I saw Whedon flash a couple times. Like this freshman group looks impressive. Keeks.
Yeah, and Whedon and Elijah Jones are probably the two most like these guys look like they've been here for 3 years kind of guys, at least physically. Just from a size.
Thanks.
I mean, Mekhi Miller's 3 inches taller than him.
I know, but look at Sanks physically, like his quads, his calves, his upper body. Physically, he looks like he's been in a college weight room for a while.
Yeah. Sanks, Whedon, and Elijah Jones would be my 3 that like you wouldn't be able to tell that they're freshmen. Some other guys you very easily can, but which is natural.
Gavin Grover, but that's only because he's
he could go play power forward for Wes Miller. Just get rebounds.
Yeah. You got anything else?
Did we talk about Sorsby?
Oh, play of the day. Play of the day.
Play of the day.
Sorsby rolling out to his left, so away from his strong hand, and Jamoy Mays comes free down the sideline, and Sorsby just 1 foot. Yeah, it wasn't. It was probably about 40 yards in the air. I think 35, 40 yards in the air.
I'd say 25. Because it was kind of a rollout improvised route, I think. I don't think it was a
it was a broken play that Mays broke off and took off down the sideline and broke free. And Sorsby, it was my point being, however long it wasn't like some like 50-yard bomb, but it was a quarterback and a receiver on the same page. The receiver broke free. Sorsby off platform.
Yeah, like which is where he's the best.
Turn there. Off platform, off his back leg, just forces it down the field to Mays because he sees him kind of break free down the sideline. Mays catches it, takes it in for a touchdown. That was my play of the day. And I think you might have had one other one that was.
I had something different, but then you told me that and it reminded me, and yes, it was.
Which one did you have?
Masari. What did I have?
You had Masari, I think.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was Masari's contested catch. I think it was like a 25 or 30-yard catch. But if you want to put like what we're saying to a visual, and I talked to Chad about this before we came on. If you go and watch Indiana's highlights against Wisconsin last year when Indiana beat Wisconsin at home and Sorsby played the entire game, 44-second mark, he makes that exact throw, but actually harder because he had a safety coming down on the receiver, so he had a smaller window to fit it in.
Yeah.
So when you post that on the thread, I'll link the video at 44 seconds. Yeah. This is what you get with Bearcat Journal. In-depth stuff.
Simeon Coleman, big hit that forced a fumble. The defense lost its mind.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Over on the far side of higher ground. Musari with the fade, Musari with a drag route,
Masari with
the Musari.
Jordan Young back-to-back pass breakups on Xavier Henderson was
Ken Willis
very,
had a
very
good
impressive.
day, fresh
Yeah.
off of winning the Heisman Trophy in season 2 of my NCAA football dynasty. I think that juice, that energy is really starting to propel Ken Willis. Jordan Young also had a near interception towards the end of practice that kind of just slipped through his hands. I'm told he had an interception yesterday on Sunday
Okay.
in practice that we didn't get to see. Derek Canteen hit Sean Dawson, caused a fumble.
Coach Dawkins was not pleased.
Just,
You don't want to have to do up downs with the ball in your hands.
no, not great. All right, we've gone entirely too long, but this is essentially your practice notes and your nightcap all wrapped into one, and I will get you at Too Deep, the Bearcat Journal first iteration, version 1.0 of the Camp Too Deep. So there you go. That's the nightcap. I will.
Excuse me.
Man.
I forgot to mute. I forgot. I'm sorry.
That's the nightcap. Brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar.